Welcome to Raj Online Trainings. In the series of full stack Java projects, we are going to see one more project like employee management system, and we have already done some videos regarding this employee management system. This project is developed using Spring Boot and Angular. Like already we discussed on this. So coming to this project, employee management system project, the modules what we are going to develop is we should be able to add the employees, update the employees, delete the employees, and list the employees. And the technologies what we use in this project is like the database is MySQL Server database, and the backend we make use of Spring Boot, Spring REST, Spring Data JPA, Hibernate like this, and the tools like Project Lombok, Postman to test our REST APIs. And the front end part we go with the Bootstrap and Angular framework, and the IDEs we use Spring Tool Suite, and for front end we go with the Visual Studio Code. And in the last videos we have seen how to download the Spring Tool Suite STS IDE, and we have created one Spring Boot project that we already discussed in the previous videos. And even we have seen the Project Lombok tool. What is the main use of Project Lombok tool? Once you create a project class or entity class, we go with the private properties and we generate setters, getters, toString method constructors. So instead of typing that, to remove that boilerplate code, we make use of these annotations. Just we use no args constructor, all args constructor, @setter, @getter, @toString, @data like this. We just make use of these annotations in order to automatically generate constructors, setters, getters, toString method. So this is very good tool for us. So we'll be using this Lombok tool in our projects while creating the entity classes. And we have seen how to download this Lombok tool using this project lombok.org download. We can download this tool and we can install it for our IDEs. Now, let us enter into the project today. Let us start off with our project, the employee management system. And we are going to develop this project using Spring Boot. We are going to make use of what? Spring Boot. In that we use Spring REST module and Spring Data JPA modules, and we make use of Hibernate in the Spring Data JPA. Now let us enter into that. For this, let us open Spring Tool Suite and let us create one Spring Starter project. How to create Spring Starter project? File, New, and you can here click here Spring Starter project. Go with the name. I'm just going with the name Employee Management System. Type, let us go with Maven, Java version 17. Group, let me say employee management. And artifact, it takes the name, the project name, and the package, let us say com.employee.management. Then click next, and here in search, here we are in available, we add the project dependencies. So for this project, we are going to add the dependencies like Spring Web. Then let us add one more dependency, Spring Data JPA. Then Lombok tool, let us use Lombok tool. Then MySQL driver, as we are connecting to MySQL database, and we make use of Spring Boot dev tools. So these dependencies we are adding into the project. Spring dev tools, Lombok, Spring Data JPA, MySQL driver, and Spring Web. Now, once we add these dependencies, just click on Finish button. The project will get created. Now, once the project is created, now let us initially go with the entity class. So we are working on what? Employee management system. So here we require the entity class, that is employee entity class. So let us create the entity class here. So to create entity class under src main Java, we are having the package com.employee.management. Let us go with a new package under this. Let us create a new package. Let me go with the name entities. Entities means our POJO classes, Java Bean classes. The class object which we want to persist into the table, that we call entity classes. And right click on this entities package and create a new class. Let me go with the name of the class as employee. Now in this class, let us go with the properties like private int employee ID, then private string employee name, private string designation, then private int employee salary. We are going with this properties. So what are the properties we are using here? Employee ID, employee name, designation, and salary. Now apply the Lombok annotations here. So you can go with @ no args constructor. See here, once you create the Spring project under pym.xml file, you can see the Spring starters got added here. Spring Boot starters. One is for Spring Data JPA, Spring Data Web. You can see for dev tools. You can see MySQL connector, Lombok. See, we have added Lombok here. So once we add this Lombok dependency, we can make use of this annotations @ no args constructor. These are Lombok annotations for us. @ no args constructor, @ all args constructor to generate all argument constructor, and we can go with @ data. This @ data is for setter, getter, and toString method. So these are our Lombok annotations. Import the packages. Now we have to mark this employee class as the entity class. So for that we go with the annotation @ entity. @ entity is say JPA annotation, Hibernate annotation. And to change the name of the table to map with the table, let us go with the annotation @ table name equal to employees. I'm going with the name of the table as employees. Now to mark it as the primary key, @ id, we go with what annotation @ id, then this will become employee id will become the primary key, and let us change the name of the column, name equal to emp_id. So these are our JP annotations, and let us generate this employee ID as a primary key. Let us generate the primary keys. For this we use the annotation @ generated value std equal to generation type dot identity, right? So this will employee ID will be generated automatically. To generate the primary keys automatically, we make use of this annotation @ generated value generation type identity. And let us even change the column names for other properties. @ column name equal to emp_name. For designation, let us go with the @ column name equal to designation, and for this salary, @ column name equal to emp_salary. emp_salary. These are our JPA annotations. You can even say Hibernate annotations. Import the respective packages here. These are our package details. Right? Now, the entity class is ready now. The entity class is ready. Now, let us provide the database connection properties and check whether our Spring Boot creates this entity class for us or not. That is, it's going to create the table in our database. Let us go with the database connection properties and Hibernate properties. Where to provide that properties? Under src main resources, you can go to this application.properties file. Here we need to provide the database connection properties. So for that, just update the code here. Spring.datasource.driver class name. So in order to connect to MySQL, what is the driver class name? com.mysql.ck.jdbc.driver. Spring.datasource.url. So in order to connect to MySQL database, what is the URL? jdbc mysql://localhost:3306. Here we have to provide the database name, the schema name. So let me go with the schema name like project2db. I'm going with the name like what? Project2db. Now let us create this database in MySQL. Open MySQL. In my case, the password is root. Now let us create a database. Create database project2db. I'm going with the name of the database as what? Project2db. This is our project name which we are going to use till the end of this project. Now let us create this. The database has been created. Now if you check here, use project2db. Now if you say here show tables, in our database project2db there are no tables now. We did not create any tables up to now. Now let us go back to our application. So we are using the schema name, the project database name as what? Project2db. The next one, provide here spring.dataSource.username is root. Spring.dataSource.password is root. In my case, the username is root, password is root. Now let us go with the Hibernate properties like spring.jpa.properties.hibernate.dialect. So as we are connecting to MySQL database, here we have to provide the dialect of MySQL, org.hibernate.dialect.mysql dialect. Next one, spring.jpa.hibernate.ddl.auto update. So when we use this update, it is going to create the tables for us. If the table is already existing, it's going to create the tables for us. Spring.jpa.showSQL as true. ShowSQL as what? True here. So these are our Hibernate properties. So these are our database connection properties. These are our Hibernate properties. Now, once we update this file, application.properties file, present under src main resources. Now let us run the project and check whether it's going to create these employee tables for us or not. Okay. Now let us run the project. Out of then, right click on employee management system project and say run as Spring Boot app. Run as Spring Boot app. See here, you can see the contents here. From Hibernate, it's giving see create table employee with the columns employee ID, integer, and it's the increment here, designation, employee name, and salary. So the table has been created for us. And see, and even you can see the Tomcat server has started in our port number 8080. So when we go with the Spring Boot projects, it comes with embedded Tomcat server. We need not configure any Tomcat server in our workspace here. Now go back to your MySQL and see now show tables. Show tables. See, a new table has been created in our database employees. And check here, describe employees. See, we are having see the fields employee ID, designation, employee name, and salary. So based on the columns names what we have used, see here emp underscore ID, emp underscore name, designation, emp underscore salary. So those names only it is going to create for us. And if you see the records, select the star from employees. You can find see empty set because we have just created the table in our database. We did not insert any records into the table, right? So what we have done here today, we have just created the Spring Boot project, employee management system project, and we have created the entity class employee, and we have used Lombok annotations and JPA annotations, Hibernate annotations, and we have updated our application.properties file to get the connection to MySQL database, and we have provided the Hibernate properties, right? So that's about in this video. So in the next video, we'll see the remaining part of this project, where we are going to insert some records into the table. We hard code, we insert some records into the table, and we create one REST API which is going to connect to our table, pull out all the records. That REST API we are going to create in the next video. Thank you. Please subscribe, like, and share.